Just give me one sec here. Finish getting everything set up and I'll be right with you. Alright everybody, we're live. Just give me a minute here. I'm just finishing up getting everything set up. And in the meantime, while you're waiting for me, you can go ahead and share this post out so that others can join us. And sorry I didn't get a chance to give anybody notification. This one wasn't really planned. I think I'm ready to go now. Alright, hi everybody. We're live. And everything's all set up. So we're here tonight in North Pole, Alaska. I just wrapped up a Aurora portrait session And this wasn't really a planned live stream, but so sorry to our patrons. Didn't get you a early notification this time, but hopefully you find us anyways. So tonight is looking pretty good. We finally got some nice clear skies, and we've got some good aurora forecasted. So welcome everybody. And so just to give you the rundown here and lay of the land. So we're out here at one of my favorite spots, and yeah, you're right, no snow on the trees this time. We've had a lot of snow lately, but we got some winds that blew it off the trees, so didn't really stick. But that's all right. It's looking like we got some good aurora in store for us tonight. This is the view looking up. And it's pretty good earlier too. Looks like we're going to have more of the same throughout the night. We got a little bit of moonlight over here. Oh, thanks, Charles. Let's see. And so I'm Sean Kurdzlak. This is our live stream from Sean Kurdzlak Portraits and Gallery. Be sure to like our page, share this out so your friends and family can join in with us and enjoy this live stream too. Also, we have special. If you want to become a patron, there's a link to our Patreon page in the description. That can get you discounts on our prints and everything in our gallery, and also can get you early notifications and early access to a lot of our content before we post a lot of our photos and videos on our Facebook and Instagram pages. They go out to our patrons first. So if you want to do that, there's a link in the description. So go ahead and check that out. So the things that we do, we've got a gallery here in North Pole, Alaska, and we also have an online gallery. There's a link to that in the description as well. And we do, one of our specialties here is aurora portraits. We've got what those are is we go and take folks out. I was out in this exact spot earlier tonight with a lovely family. We brought them out here, captured their portraits under the aurora. You can see examples of that on our website and our Facebook page. And we also have a gallery in North Pole. We also do private aurora photography workshops there at our gallery if anyone's interested in those. And we also have just had a big announcement. We are going to be going down to Las Vegas this July to capture portraits under the Milky Way. Similar to what you see under the aurora, but it's going to be under the Milky Way. So that's a big event, special event that we've got coming up if anyone's interested in that. And again, thanks to everyone for joining us. I can see your comments, so if you have any questions or anything, go ahead and post them down there below, and I'll be happy to answer them. And also be sure to like our page and follow us. You can also go into the settings, the notification settings for our Facebook page if you want to get notified when we go live. And if you want to get early notifications, you can do that through that link there to our Patreon page if you sign up and become a patron. Oh, it's looking pretty good right now. We got this nice little swirl going on there. Check that out. So like I said, this wasn't really a pre-planned one. Yeah, Neil, it is. So we're going to be based out of Las Vegas. Of course, we're going to get a little ways out of the city for those portraits. You can see that if you go to our Facebook page, the announcement that we posted there, and an example of one that we did back last month when we were down there in the area. So we're going to be capturing those in the area around Las Vegas. Basically within about an hour or two drive from Las Vegas. Far enough away from the city lights and some of the nice scenic areas there out in the desert. I just saw a meteor with my eyes. I don't know if that showed up on the screen. Did anybody see that? Was that captured on the video? I don't think I've been to Great Basin. Some of the areas that we're looking at, let's see, Joshua Tree Highway is where I captured that one. Light. And then there's a few other spots around there that we're looking at for those portraits. Alright, got a few people with us now. And Facebook is not kind to us anymore with their algorithm changes, so these videos are less likely to be seen by people. So liking, sharing, and commenting helps boost that up so that people can see it. So we appreciate it if you do that. If you're enjoying this video, think others might enjoy it, please do that. There's the moon over there. The moon's about half full right now. Giving us a little bit of light here, lighting up the scenery. Oh no, sound problems again. Yeah, I've got to use the audio from the camera because my mic died, so audio probably won't be as good tonight. Oh, nice. Yeah, I'm close to home tonight. Out here in one of my favorite spots out here in North Pole. Last weekend I went up to Eagle Summit. That was really nice up there. I haven't been up there in the wintertime, so that was a first. Absolutely gorgeous up there. Posted a photo from that a couple days ago. If you But of course, out there is basically the middle of nowhere, and there's no service out there, so I can't do any live streams from out there. I wish I could. Yeah, Esterdome's not a bad spot. I've been up there quite a few times. Hi, from Queensland, Australia. Nice. And to everyone who's just joined us, hello. Thanks for joining us. Tonight we're live streaming the Aurora here from North Pole, Alaska. This one wasn't really a planned live stream, but the Aurora was pretty good. I just wrapped up a Aurora portrait session out here at this location, so I decided to just go ahead and go live. So be sure to give us a like and a share if you guys does. And can anyone tell me if the audio is any better now? So I'll give you guys a little look of what we've got here. This is one of my favorite spots out here. I love the trees in this area. Got these little scraggly black spruce trees. Looks like the aurora's starting to pick up over here now. We'll come back over there if it starts getting good. Got the moon out tonight. Hi, Paulette. Cassie. That's weird. I haven't seen any UFOs out here tonight. I did see a meteor a few minutes ago streak across the sky. It was just out of the frame though, so I didn't get it on the camera. Looks like something's starting to happen over here, so I'm going to pan around. Aurora's starting to get brighter over there behind those trees. Let's see if we can't get a nice show. Yeah, well, Vicky, looks like you're coming in at a good time. Next couple days forecast is looking good. Yeah, unfortunately, we don't see Steve up here too often. We're a little too far north. Yeah, it's always a nice treat if you can catch the aurora from the plane. And I will be right back, guys. I'm just going to run back and swap out batteries. I'll be back in just a minute. Alright, I'm back. You guys still with me? Let's see what we got here. Temperature, I don't know. I haven't looked. Let's see, my app is telling me it's 16 degrees. And that's Fahrenheit. So, certain time that it happens is, to answer that question, basically, yeah, you can see it anytime, potentially see it anytime between sundown and sunup. However, the time that you're most likely to see it is at magnetic midnight, or is around magnetic midnight, which right now is between about 1 to 2 a.m. is when you're most likely to see it. And then, of course, the stronger the aurora is and the more active, basically the earlier and later that you can see it before and after that time. So tonight it was out around, let's see, we got out here a little after 10. It was already out. It was just kind of a faint green band at that time. Not much going on, but it was out. Let's see, I'm going to pan around here. We got a little bit going on over here on the other side. It's dancing just a little bit. Yeah, if it's landing around midnight, yeah, you got a decent chance to see the aurora. Yeah, I think Norway and the rest of Scandinavia has been doing better than us the last month or two. Just because we've had some really weird weather patterns going on here. Normally February and March are our least cloudiest months here in this part of Alaska. And so that's generally the best time to come and see the lights in Alaska, at least in interior Alaska. But we've had some really weird weather, and we've had tons of snow and cloudy all the time for the last 2 months, which is really not normal for this time of year. So I think they've been getting a better show over there in that part of the world. But now, the last couple nights it's finally cleared up, and we are getting, looks like we're going to end the aurora season on a high note, so I'm happy about that. So just to give you guys a fair warning, we're not going to be able to stay on as long tonight on the live stream because we've already used up a fair bit of my battery life. We're shooting some behind the scenes video of the Aurora portrait session that we had earlier tonight. So we've already drained a little bit of the batteries. So normally we can go just about all night. Got some time, so hopefully we get a nice show before then. Hey Kristen, thanks for joining us. and welcome to everyone who's just joined us. So tonight we're out here in North Pole, Alaska again, live streaming the Aurora for you. And tonight's looking like a pretty good night, as long as my batteries last. Like I was saying earlier, we're shooting some behind-the-scenes video of an Aurora portrait session. And here we go. Now she's starting to go. There we go. Look at this. So, like I was saying, I'm Sean Kurdzalak. Thanks for joining us on our live stream. And we've got a gallery here in North Pole, Alaska. And I'm going to swing this around so I don't get my cables tangled. Oh, here we go. Look at that. Yeah, looks like we're in for a good night tonight. We had some really nice Aurora earlier. And it looks like it's starting to pick up again for us. So don't go anywhere. Take a look at that. Getting a little bit of color in there too. Oh, looks like there's a little bit of purple in there. Check that out. And again, be sure to like our page and share this out so your friends and family can join us. And also, if you'd like to get notifications when we live stream the Aurora in the future, you can turn on notifications on my Facebook page, and then you can also, if you want to get early notifications, we send those out to our patrons on Patreon. So that's the way to get those. There's a link to that in the description if you're interested in that. And then also we have some other benefits for our patrons. We give them exclusive and early access to some of our photos and videos. They get to see them typically before anybody else. And then they also get discounts in our gallery for purchasing prints. Oh, look at that. Getting some nice color in there. Check that out. It's a good night tonight. Look at her go. She's dancing now, getting some nice color there. Oh, look at that. That's the view looking just about straight up. There we go. Oh yeah. it's getting good now. Oh, nice. How's the audio, guys? Are we still having issues? Can you guys hear me okay? That's beautiful straight up now. Oh, here we go. Look at that. Oh, we're getting some nice color now. Oh, let's come over here. Look at that. Oh, nice. Oh, wow, look at that. Oh, wow. Oh, it's going now. Oh, look at it go. Oh, oh man, look at that. Oh, look at that. Oh, wow. Oh, it's a good night tonight. is. Yeah, I think it hit. It's looking good over here now. Look at that. Sorry guys, not really keeping up with the comments. I've been getting caught up with the running the camera here. It's been really good for the last few minutes. Looks like we might be about to get another Corona. Hello, and hi everyone, thanks for joining us. So for everyone who's just joining us, I'm Sean Kurdzalak, and this is our live stream here from North Pole, Alaska, bringing you the Northern Lights. So thank you for joining us, and be sure to check out the links in the description. There's a few good things in there. There's links to our website. And also, you can like and follow us here on Facebook and Instagram. And also, we've got exclusive rewards for our patrons on Patreon. You'll find a link to that in the description as well. And some of the things that you can get there are discounts on our prints in our gallery, and also you can get early notifications when we go live. And also for our patrons, they get the first access to our photos and videos. For some of our photos and videos, we post them on there for our patrons first. They get to see them before anybody else. And take a look at that. This is the view looking straight up. And also, you guys can you can comment down below. I can see your I can see the comments, so if you have any questions, go ahead and post them down there. And to answer your question, Lily, I'm in North Pole, Alaska. And it's turned out to be a really good night. So don't go anywhere. And also be sure to share this video out so your friends and family can join us too. Had a great view. I mean, this is basically my backyard. I only we take people out here and capture their portraits out here under the Aurora. You can see examples of that on our Facebook page and our website. Again, there's a link to that in the description, so be sure to check those out. And if you are interested in having your portrait taken under the Aurora, get in contact with us. We're already taking bookings for next season, so we already got a few people on the schedule for next year. This season's just about over. We've got a few more weeks left in the season, but we're booked solid. So hi, Caribou. Hope I pronounced that right. Yeah, they're able to see the Aurora quite often out in Barrow. Hi, my name's Sean Kurdzalak, and this is my live stream here from North Pole, Alaska. I'm a photographer here, and specialize in capturing the Aurora. We do Aurora landscapes, we do these Aurora live streams, and we also take people out and capture their portraits under the Aurora. So, the time here is 3 a.m. Alaska time. We got a good night tonight. For everyone who just joined us, just missed a nice big show. It was really dancing, got a lot of color in there. But don't worry, if you stay tuned, it should pick up again. I mean, it's not bad right now. It's still looking pretty good, but should get even better here before too long if you stay with us. I'll just pan around, show you guys what it looks like. So that's the view looking straight up right now. Not a lot going on over there, but we got this big arch going across the sky. From over here, that's basically due east. We've even got some of the southern sky filled up. That's where it was dancing earlier. Looks like it's starting to get going again. Getting a little brighter there. Hi everybody. Maria from Serbia. Hi, thanks for joining us. Yeah, Yellowknife is another good spot for Aurora viewing. Although I think interior Alaska is the best, but I'm biased. Hi Zach, Indiana. Thanks. Philippines. Oh, here we go again. Oh, wow. Look at this. Oh, it's getting good now. Check that out. Oh, you guys tuned in just in the perfect time. Oh, wow. Look at that. Sorry, I'm not going to be able to keep up with the comments. I'm going to have to work the camera here. Oh, wow. Look at that. Oh, my goodness. Now, that is what we call a corona. That's the view looking straight up right now. Oh, we got some nice color there. Oh, wow. Oh, some nice purples in there. And of course the green. Oh, wow. Look at that. Oh, boy. Oh, it's getting really good. This is a really good night tonight. Oh, wow. It's starting to fade out again. Still going a little bit over here, though. So that's kind of on the edge of the auroral zone. There we go. She's still dancing for us a little bit over there. Take a look at that. Well, Zach, I am not camping. I kind of live in the middle of nowhere. This is North Pole, Alaska. That's where I live. I live about 5 minutes down the road from here. In a little, I actually live in a log cabin in the woods in Alaska. So sorry guys, I got a little behind on the comments. I was working the camera there. But if I missed any of your questions, go ahead and post them again, and I'll be happy to answer them. And hi everybody. Oh, we got Natasha from South Africa. Thanks for joining us. Jessica in Texas. Diana, welcome. So, Marissa, to answer your question, this is North Pole, Alaska. That's where I am right now. That's where I live. That's where my gallery is. I'm a photographer here. So we do a few things. We've got, tonight, the reason I was out here, and this wasn't really a planned live stream, we were out here capturing some aurora portraits, which is we take people out here and capture their portraits under the aurora. So, take their picture with the aurora in the background. Here, and I had the video camera set up for to get some behind-the-scenes video of their photo shoot. So, I just decided to go ahead and get the live stream started once we finished. And then turned out to be a really good night. So be sure to like our page and follow if you want to get notifications when we go live. And if you want to get early notifications, you can become a patron on our Patreon page. There's a link to that in the description. And that's how you can get early notifications before we go live like this in the future. And the link to that is right there. There you go. There's the link to our Patreon page. If you guys want to check that out, get early notifications. Oh, thanks, Zach. And it looks like it's fading out a little bit now, but if you guys stick with us, I'm not sure how much more battery life I've got exactly, but I'm going to keep this rolling as long as I can. Oops. So we also do Aurora photography workshops there at our gallery in North Pole. So if you're in the area, go ahead and swing by and look us up. And you can sign up for one of those, or you can commission us for your own unique portraits under the northern lights. And this season's just about over, but we got another couple weeks left in the season. We're booked, and we have a couple more clients to get done before the season's over for the Aurora portraits, but we're taking bookings now for next season. We'll start shooting again in September. And this time of year, now we're right around the equinox, so we've got about the same amount of daylight as everybody else in the rest of the world. But once we get past the equinox, we start gaining light really fast. And then by June, it is light all day and night long. And you can also follow us on Instagram. You can find us on there. Same name. It's at Sean Kurdzalak Portraits. And we've also got a YouTube channel where we post some of these videos. And like I said, our patrons on Patreon get first access to that. They also get early notifications. So if anyone's interested in that, you can check out that link in the description to our Patreon page. And you can support these live streams that way to help us continue doing these. Right now it's about 15 degrees Fahrenheit here. And it is, I don't know, a little after 3 a.m. Yeah, 3:15 a.m. Alaska time. And it's about 15 degrees Fahrenheit. Maybe a little colder now, probably around 10. It's not too bad. A couple of these live streams we did earlier in the year were it was 30 below zero for one of them that we did. Another one we live streamed the total lunar eclipse, the blue blood moon. Back in late January, and on that night it was 30 to 35 below. That one was a cold one. So the best time to see this, at least up here in Alaska, the best time is, as far as time of day, is between about 1 and 2 a.m. And then of course the stronger the aurora is on any given night, you'll be able to see it earlier and later as well. but the peak or the high point of the night is typically around 1 to 2 a.m. As far as time of the year, the aurora is most active around the equinoxes, so this time of year is a good time of year to see it. And also, the spring equinox for us also lines up with when we have, historically, the least cloudiest time of year. That hasn't really worked out this year. We got some weird weather this year and had a lot of clouds over the last 2 months. But last couple nights it's finally cleared up. Looks like we're going to end the aurora season on a high note. The next few nights are looking good, and we've got clear skies forecasted, so that's good. And hello everybody who's just joined us. Thanks for joining us. Hi, Maria, Serbia. Got some people from all over the world. Oklahoma. Yeah, right now, it's dancing a little bit right now. You guys can see that. There's a little bit of color there. It looks like it's starting to pick up again, so I won't be able to keep up too well with the comments, so I apologize in advance. I'm going to start working this camera because it is getting good. Try to get caught back up with the comments. Oh, here we go. It's starting to go again. Take a look at this, everybody. Getting some movement over here now. So this is pretty typical. On a night like tonight, it kind of a lot, and now it's starting to pick up again. And then we'll get these little bursts. And then on the better nights, basically, the main difference is it gets brighter, it gets more intense, because it's a little more color. And then we also get, there's basically less time between these little flare-ups. They last longer. There's less time between them. And I'm also recording this in ultra high def 4K. So I'll put out some highlight videos in the coming weeks. Although we're pretty busy here at the end of the aurora season, but I'll get those out. And of course, like I said, our patrons get first access to those. And if you want to become a patron, there's a link in the description where you can do that. We find out some information there. And then we'll eventually also post them on our YouTube channel and Facebook page. And now you can see those. It's a lot higher quality than what you're getting on the live stream. We do, of course, have some constraints. We can't push it out in full 4K. But I am recording it in ultra high def 4K. That, like I said, we'll put out later. Take a look at that. That's looking just about straight up right now. Looks like we're about to get a nice corona. That's when it's straight overhead. You get that kind of crown shape to it. Oh, look at that. There we go. And I apologize, I'm not able to keep up with the comments right now. I'm got to work the camera. So I apologize if I miss any of your questions. I'll get back to those later once the aurora dies down. Oh, look at that. Oh, wow. Yeah, this is turning out to be a really good night. Definitely the best I've seen in the last few months. And if it keeps going like this, it might turn out to be the best of the season. The last really good night we had like this, I'd have to say, was the Christmas Eve live stream that we did. You guys can, of course, go back and watch that, too, on our Facebook page. It was really good. We were streaming from here at this same location. who's just joined us, I apologize. I'm not able to keep up with your comments right now because I got to work this camera. It's really good right now, so I don't want to miss anything. So I can't really pay attention to your comments, so I apologize for that. But to get you caught up, if you just joined us, I'm Sean Kurdzalak. This is our live stream from here in North Pole, Alaska. And we're streaming the Northern Lights out to you. And our Facebook page is Sean Kurdzalak Portraits and Gallery. On Instagram, if you want to follow us there, it's Sean Kurdzalak Portraits. And then, of course, we also have our Patreon page. Access to some of our content, like our Aurora video clips and photos. You can also, of course, like and follow us on Facebook. And if you want to help support these live streams, you can do that through our Patreon page. And also, you can, of course, like and share this video. Share it out so your friends and family can enjoy it too. There we go. That's the view looking straight up right now. And then, of course, if you're in the area, you can stop by our gallery in North Pole. We've got our fine art Aurora landscape prints for sale there. And if you can't make it in, there's a link in the description of this video to our online gallery. You can shop there and special order prints of my Aurora photography there. And of course, if you become a patron, you can get discounts on our prints at our gallery and from our physical gallery, and also from our online orders. And we also have Aurora photography workshops that we have at our gallery. You can do. We'll probably have an open one that everyone can sign up for to kick off next Aurora season in September or October. And then you can also have private Aurora photography workshops with me, where I teach you how to capture your own photos of the Northern Lights. And one of the other popular things that we have, my particular specialty, is capturing portraits of people under the Aurora. That's what we're out here doing. Fairbanks and North Pole are adjacent to each other. From where we are right now, it's about a 15-minute drive to the center of Fairbanks. We're right outside of Fairbanks. This is where I live here in North Pole. It's where my gallery is as well. I actually just live about 5 minutes down the road from here. I literally live in a cabin in the woods in Alaska. Better over here right now. So if you've been with us for the last few minutes, you've kind of seen how the Aurora typically goes. It kind of flares up like we saw a few minutes ago. We'll get some nice little bursts. It'll start dancing. We'll get some good color, get a lot of movement, and then it kind of dies down. And then on a good night like we're getting tonight, it'll die down and then it'll pick up again, and it'll die down and pick up again. And that's pretty typical how it goes. And then there's other nights where on the nights that aren't as good, where we'll get sometimes we'll just get, like you're seeing now, this is about as good as it'll get on some of the worst nights. And it won't ever get much better than this, but tonight we got a really good night, so we can get some really good shows. So right now it's not too cold. I think it's about 10 degrees, which I know it sounds really cold to a lot of you, but for us up here in this part of the world, that's pretty good. Done a few of these live streams this year where it was 30, 35 below zero. Those are cold, and my equipment doesn't really like it when it's that cold. So on a night like tonight, it's not too bad. It's pretty easy to keep everything running. Although I am limited on battery life, so I might have to shut this down soon if we get my batteries get too low. And yeah, coming up here to Alaska, or if you live in Europe or other parts of the world, sometimes Scandinavia is another good option to go see the aurora. But yeah, I definitely recommend putting this on everybody's bucket list. The live stream video, well, especially the ultra high def 4K videos that I post on our Facebook page and on our YouTube channel, those come pretty close to what it's like seeing it in real life, but it still doesn't compare. When you're standing there looking up and the entire sky is just full and dancing like it was a few minutes ago, there's nothing quite like it. So, let's see, Edgar, to answer your question, how often we go live, it all depends on the aurora. Most of the time like for our patrons that I was talking about, if you sign up on our Patreon page and become a patron, we send out early notifications when we're going live there. We can usually get those out a few hours beforehand. If it's looking good and I don't have any clients booked or anything like that, then we can plan ahead for some of those live streams. Tonight, though, I wasn't able to really plan ahead for this one. I was out here capturing portraits for a lovely family that came up from Anchorage, and I was capturing their portraits out here in this very spot under the aurora. So not live stream, but behind the scenes video of their photo shoot. So I just went ahead and went live. But as for, and yes, Mackie, we're live right now. Yeah, anyways, so as far as how often we go live, it all depends. I haven't, let's see, we did a live stream about 2 weeks ago, and then it was probably a good month before we did the one before that. Earlier in the season, we did, sometimes we did a couple in a week. It just all depends on when we get good aurora and clear skies. So do them as often as we can. Just depends on how busy I am with portraits and workshops and other things, and how the weather cooperates. Yeah, Jason, to answer your question, you do get used to it. You kind of acclimate to the cold. Like, you guys would probably be surprised, I'm wearing really thin gloves. My hands just don't get cold anymore. Like the first couple of cold spells, cold snaps of the season, once we get into fall and like into October, November, when it start getting the first, it's kind of rough. You get those first cold snaps, but by this point, it's been like 5 solid months of winter, so I'm just used to it. It doesn't really bother me. So as you guys can see now, it's kind of died down again. But like I was saying earlier, that's typical. Even on really good nights, like tonight's been a pretty good night. So even on nights like tonight, it will, the aurora comes and goes. It'll fade away and then it'll come back and get intense again, so don't go anywhere. I'm sure it'll be back strong here before too long. So our main limitation, though, is the battery life of my equipment here. So speaking of that, I am going to step away from the camera for a minute and go grab and go swap out my batteries so we can get a little more life out of this. So I will be right back. Don't go anywhere. Alright, I'm back. We got a fresh battery on, so that should give us a little more time. Alright, so sorry about that, folks. I had to go so we're getting a little low right now. Yes, Mia Madison, this is live for real. Well, lovely Davis, it is not as still. I'm happy to answer them. Right now, we've just kind of got a low point. The Aurora's kind of fixed. And any questions? So if I missed anything, go ahead and post it again. Hey Patty, thanks for joining us. I'm Sean Kurdzalak, and I'm here in North Pole, Alaska. This is my home. I've got a gallery here, so if you're in the area, please stop by sometime. We're in North Pole. I've got my my Aurora photography on display there that you can purchase. And if you and if you become a patron, you can get early notifications when we're going live. We can usually get, and you can also get discounts on our prints by becoming a patron. And let's see. And we also have private Aurora photography workshops that you can get signed up for, where you can spend the evening with me and learn how to use your camera and capture your own photos of the Northern Lights. And then I also capture portraits of people under the Aurora, which is what I was doing out here today. Of I apologize if I'm cutting out. Is it any better now? But let's see. A couple people were asking what causes the Northern Lights. So the aurora, it starts with the sun, and you get a few different things that can cause the aurora. What we mainly get is the aurora that's caused by the solar wind streams. So you have the solar winds that come off of the sun. Also get basically comes in contact with gases at higher altitudes. You get the reds and the purples, and then you also get some other colors at times, but those are, well, the green is definitely the most common. You always and purples. So that's what we typically get the aurora from. Then we also sometimes will get what they call a coronal mass ejection, or a CME, and that is a basically like a big bubble on the surface of the sun. Typically causes the really big storms. Those are fairly rare, and even more rare this right now, because we're coming into the low point of the solar cycles. So each solar cycle lasts about 11 years on average, and in the middle of the solar cycle is the solar, or the maximum, and that's when you get the most activity, and that's when we get the most aurora. So that peaked back in what was it, 20? This time was kind of weird. It was a double peak. It was in 2012 and 2014, I think, is when the two peaks were. And then now we're coming down into the solar minimum, which will probably be next year sometime, later this year or early next year, most likely. So right now we are at, like I was saying, a low point, so we don't get nearly as much aurora activity as we did a few years ago. But once we hit the minimum, then we start climbing again towards the next maximum, and we enter into the next solar cycle. So once we hit that minimum, which, like I said, should be in the next year, we'll start climbing out of it and heading towards the maximum, which will basically be an increase in aurora activity steadily over the next 5 to 6 years. So to answer your question, Mackie, yes, it does wreak havoc with electronic equipment. Right now, the level that this storm is at, it's not too bad. When you start getting into, when you start getting those big storms, yeah, you can have real big problems. I mean, it actually has the potential to basically knock out the power grid. If millennia storm, which we'll probably get one. The biggest geomagnetic storm on record, and that's the type of storm that can knock out a power grid. Of course, back then all there was really like telegraph lines and didn't do a whole lot of damage. But now, as technologically advanced as we are, it could be a big problem. So you see issues with like satellite communications, HF radio communications, that type of stuff is where you get the most interference. For us here on the ground, though, we don't really see any issues with it, unless, like I was saying, you get those really big storms. Alright, thanks, Marissa. And yeah, for anyone that's interested, you can follow us on Facebook. Follow our page on Facebook. We're also on Instagram, Twitter, YouTube. You can find us there as well. And follow us there. And so the different things that we have here on our Facebook page, we just kind of post a little bit of everything there, from our Aurora portraits, where we take people out and capture their portraits of the Aurora. Of course, if you're in the area, you can commission us to capture your own Aurora portraits. I also capture landscape photography of the Aurora, and we've got that in our gallery here in North Pole, and then also in our online gallery. And then also these videos, like we're live streaming now, of course, but I'm also capturing the high points. I'm recording them in ultra high def 4K, so we put those videos out too. Basically like little highlight reels that we do. And like I was saying earlier, our patrons on our Patreon page get first access to those. They get to see them before anybody else, and you can sign up for that too if you want. You can go to our Patreon page and become a patron and get exclusive access to some of our content, also early access to our content, and you can also get early notifications on our Patreon page if you become a patron. And that helps us keep these live streams going, because they are it gets expensive, and we don't really want to do ads or anything like that on these. We want to keep them free and open, so if you guys want to support that, you can do that through our Patreon page, or by purchasing prints or anything like that too. Oh, nice. Yeah, I'm, let's see, Mackie, I'm a little bit familiar with with that. It's been a little while, though. In my first life, I was well, I'm still in the military now. I'm coming up on retirement here, and this photography is my next career. So, but my job in the Air Force, when I first came in, we worked a lot with HF radios, and I was stationed up here in Alaska years ago. The early 2000s was my first duty station up here, and we would always, I know up here it's a lot more finicky than down in the lower 48 when we had, due to the solar activity. But these days we're mostly using satellite comms and not so much the HF anymore. So let's see. How many times do... now, of course, that's only through the winter months, between about mid-August and mid-April. The rest of the year, it doesn't get dark enough up here to see the aurora. Now, of course, tonight is a better than average night. So on a typical night, I'd say on a less than average night, sometimes all we'll get is just kind of a faint green band across the horizon. It won't really get any better than that. We don't get a lot of movement, don't get a lot of color. And if not to the naked eye, the camera picks it up a little bit better. And then on a night like tonight, where we've got some nice aurora activity, we get nice shows like this. Oh, thank you, Gail. Yeah, down there in Australia, well, you can get the, what is it, the Aurora Australis, how do you pronounce that? Australis? The southern lights, basically. But like I was saying, since we are now towards the low point of the solar cycle, we're coming up on the solar minimum, you see it at those latitudes a lot less frequently. Now, in about 5 to 6 years from now, and of course it's a steady increase between now and then, well, once we hit the aurora, or the solar minimum, it'll be a steady increase in activity over the next 5 to 6 years after that. As you get closer to the solar maximum, you see it a lot more frequently at the lower latitudes, or if you're in the southern, the higher latitudes, or whatever. So yeah, in about 5 to 6 years, you'll be able to see it more frequently down there in Australia. And also in the lower latitudes, like the northern states of the U.S., and sometimes you'll even get storms that'll push it down as far south as like Ohio and Pennsylvania, and sometimes even further south when you get the really big storms. The camera, they look more white or gray to me. So that is another common question. So for anyone who's interested, basically, you can do some research on it, but as far as how your eyes work in low light, you've got rods and cones in your retinas that help you pick up the light. So in low light and at night, when you're out, you basically see in more like black and white. Your eyes can't pick up the colors as well. So the aurora is always just as colorful, whether it's faint or whether it's bright. The main difference is that your eyes can't pick up the colors well when it's faint. So as the aurora gets brighter and more intense, you can see more of that color with your eyes. Now in the camera, though, there's really no difference in color. It's just as colorful. It's more a matter of how well your eyes can pick up that color. So, Bruce, I'm not sure what you're asking when you said, when is that? Oh, I missed the shooting star too. Cool, I'm gonna have to go back and check that out. It's the shooting star. I did see one earlier, but we missed that one on camera. But I saw it with my eyes. That's a funny story, Maggie. And thank you. Yeah, these trees here, I love these trees. That's one of the reasons why I love this spot. So, this area is real marshy. I don't even like to ride my four-wheeler out here because it gets stuck. But you really can't walk around out here too easily in the summer. But once it freezes up, you can wander around back here in these trees for miles. This is a real low area, and the Chena River is just basically what happens is they can't really get a deep root structure, and when they get too tall they just fall over. But these are black spruce trees, and they're very typical of this part of Alaska. And I think you also get them in, I believe it's the same kind of trees that you get up in parts of Scandinavia as well. Thank you guys, and you're welcome. Thanks for joining us. We love doing these live streams. Like I was saying, if you'd like to support these live streams, you can do so on our Patreon page. To answer the question, where am I? I'm in North Pole, Alaska. This is where I live, and I have my photography business here. We've also got a gallery here in North Pole. If you're in the area, you can stop by and say hi. We've got my Aurora photography on display there and for sale. If you can't make it by in person, you can check out our online gallery as well. And North Pole, Alaska is right outside Fairbanks. Right now we're about a 15-minute drive from downtown Fairbanks. I live here in North Pole. I live about 5 minutes down the road. And my gallery is about 10 minutes drive from here. And there's the link to my Patreon page for anyone that's interested in that. Like I said, if you want to support these live streams, that's one way that you can do it. You can also get early notifications for our live streams, and you can get early access to some of our photos and videos that we post on there. You get to see them before anybody else. And then, of course, I highly recommend a visit to Alaska for anybody. Definitely put that on your bucket list. It's an absolutely beautiful place. If you want to see the aurora, you got to come during the September 1st and April 1st. And generally February and March are the best months to come up here. Well, I haven't moved the camera much. Get a little bit of movement. The aurora's not really doing much right now. It's kind of faded out. And might be a little while before it picks up again. And my batteries are starting to get low, so I think we'll probably call it a night and shut this down. We've been going for almost 2 hours now. Hi, Corpus Christi, Texas. Thanks for joining us, Jimmy. Hi, Sean in Oklahoma. So for those of you who have just joined us, I apologize, but I'm going to shut down the live stream and call it a night. But once I shut it down, you can go back and watch from the beginning, and you'll be able to. It takes a couple minutes, but then you'll be able to just watch it like any other video on Facebook. You can fast forward, rewind, skip ahead. There were several really good parts of the night. We got some amazing stuff tonight. So yeah, for anyone who's just joined us, I definitely recommend once I shut this down, go back and watch from the beginning, or like I said, you'll be able to fast forward and kind of hit the high points. But there were several great points throughout the night. So good night to everybody, and again, be sure to like and follow our Facebook page here, and you can also find us on Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube, and again, of course, on Patreon. And I'll post that link one more time. If you guys want to support these live streams, that's one way that you can do it. And thanks again for joining us, and be sure to check out those links in the description. Have a good night.